Good evening. It is Monday, November 22nd. This is Legit Fantasy Basketball, hosted by the genius Kev. Believe it or not, we are in week 6 of the NBA. Yes, week 6, and that means we are 20% through the season. So it's going a little faster than I thought. I didn't realize we were already almost at the quarter turn here. But that only kind of magnifies some of the early hot takes we had. I think the league is kind of forming into a little bit more. I think things are kind of settling down a little bit. Some good teams are rising. Some of the questionable teams that were on top earlier are kind of falling a little bit. And when I think of questionable things, questionable people, questionable teammates, I always think of King Michael. King,
how you doing there, genius?
Doing well. Had a busy day today. I was pretty much worked all day and then had to get ready for this. So here we are. But I'm ready.
Here we are, and I don't want you to look into the blue light surrounding me or the New York Giants sweatshirt. I am totally 100% here for basketball, genius. I want to let you know that. And there's nothing else at all occupying my mind at this moment in time on November 22nd, 2021. Kev, for all the math geeks out there, it's 1122-2021.
Nicely done, King.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. So another man that I'm sure will not be distracted at all by Monday Night Football, Brother Ray. Brother Ray, how you doing?
Doing well, genius. Looking forward to another week of NBA.
Yeah, things are, like I said, I was looking at the stats today, looking at the teams. So we'll talk about it when we hit the spreadsheet. But I think the kind of cream is starting to rise, and some of the other teams are going to start to disappear. But we do have Coach TJ back, and I'm a little surprised he made it back because last I heard he was on a private jet to Sacramento. So we're going to talk a little bit about Coach's experiences out there with Vivek and the rest of the Sacramento crew, how his interview went. We'll do that a little bit later in the show when we do the team review. And I'm really excited to get kind of an inside look at what an NBA coaching search looks like. So, TJ, I hope you can share it. I know there's some things we won't be able to go into, but I'm going to tease the listeners a little bit, the viewers, and say they're going to get to see kind of what it's really like to be pursued at that level. But
yeah, you're great at teasing, Kev.
What? Oh, yeah. Thanks, Kate. All right, but before we get into that, we do have 3 games that are going to tip off a little later tonight. We have an 8:30 game, a 9 o'clock game, and a 10 o'clock game. So we don't. So I want to kind of cover that right now, so we don't have to rush through it towards the end of the show or take a break in the middle. So first one, 8:30, Phoenix going into Sacramento. And Phoenix is laying 5.5, and the over/under is 219.5. Phoenix is red hot right now. So they're not going to Sacramento; they're going to San Antonio. So Phoenix laying 5.5 at San Antonio. I don't see any big injury news out there for the Suns. Brother Ray, why shouldn't I bet my house on Phoenix laying 5.5 at San Antonio?
San Antonio, they've been up and down so far this year, but and I think someone made a joke that they're basically playing. They have like 4 people that play the same position in the starting lineup, and it's probably accurate. But they burned me several times. Just when I think I could jump on San Antonio, and this looks like the case where you should just throw everything but the kitchen sink on Phoenix. That's when like San Antonio steps up, Vassell pours in 25, and then I'm here with egg on my face and and no money.
Yeah, and if you're me, you're doing the show from an undisclosed location because some guys from Federal Hill are pulling up outside the house. TJ, what do you think of that game? Phoenix laying 5.5 at San Antonio.
It seems too easy, doesn't it?
Exactly.
It seems too easy, but here's where you're going against you if you're the Suns, right? You played last night. You played Denver last night. The Spurs have had like a week off, which is strange. This is like I don't think they had a game in 4 or 5 days. So you got that going against you. I mean, to me, the smart money's still on Phoenix, but there's a little pause there. And you said there's no injuries for Phoenix, but Frank Kaminsky, there'll be no Kaminsky tonight.
Whoa. I've been bringing up Frank Kaminsky for 3 weeks. No one would even pick him up as a waiver in any of your leagues. No, I don't want to hear that Frank Kaminsky is the reason why Phoenix could be in trouble. You can't play both ways.
Because Kaminsky didn't play, and basically the Spurs had like a week to prepare for this freaking game. So I still like Phoenix. That said.
All right, King. Anything you want to add on this one?
I almost feel like Phoenix needs to rest. They've been so hot. What are the chances that they rest people tonight?
I haven't seen anything at all. That's the thing. I've been looking at the. I mean, it wouldn't be on the injury report. I guess you're right, but I haven't. Yeah, I haven't seen that yet either. So
it's just a weird spread. That's all. It's a weird number. It seems too easy for me to go. Oh, of course, Phoenix is going to come in there and win by 6. And then I'm thinking, well, then why is that spread the way it is? So, but I'm still going to go with Phoenix. I'm just a little weirded out. I think. I think there's something wrong with the spread. How about that?
I think we all are, and usually, Vegas isn't in the habit of giving money away. So obviously, there's a reason it's 5.5. But you know what? Maybe I'm gonna bet Phoenix anyway. Next one. This one seems a little bit more reasonable to me. 9:00 Eastern. You got Memphis getting 11 at Utah. Over under is 221.5. Both teams are coming off 1 day of rest, so it's not a back-to-back for either one of them. And as far as injuries go, let me switch over here. As far as injuries go, looks like Dylan Brooks is still out, and no DeAnthony Melton. So King, actually, we'll go with TJ first. What are your thoughts on that one?
Utah just handles their business, especially at home. They blow teams out. I mean, they blew out Philly, they blew out Toronto, they blew out Sacramento. I have no reason to think that Memphis can go in there and win or even keep it close. Interesting fact, though, John Morant leads the entire NBA in points in the paint, which is a great category for a guard like him. Yep. Ahead of all these bigs and Giannis and whatever. John Morant leads the NBA in points in the paint. But how many points you get in the paint when Gobert's down there? Not many. So to me, it's just a bad matchup all around. Tonight, I like Utah.
Yeah. Brother Ray, what do you think of that one?
Yeah, pretty much same thing I was going to say. They're just too tough at home. They're a different team at home, and it doesn't matter what's going on. They just that place rocks. They got those crazy colored uniforms, which I don't like, by the way. But hey, I had to watch that the other night when they trounced Philly by like 20. So I have to go with Utah on this. It's just disappointing that Memphis is. I say this every week. Just really disappointing that they're this bad.
Yeah.
Wait, what's the spread?
11.
I'll take Memphis. How about that one? 11? No, I'm being serious.
11.
Memphis is 8-8. I mean, you say they're awful, but they're still 8-8 in the NBA. So, at 11 points, no, I'm going to take Memphis. That's a Vegas trick.
Yeah. You know what I don't understand with Memphis, and Coach has brought it up a couple of times, is how their defense is as bad as it is. Like, it doesn't seem characteristic for the players on that team. They seem a little bit, I don't know, like harder than that. And I don't understand how they just don't play defense at all. I can't rationalize that. But you know what I usually do? Like I've been doing a little more in games with big spreads like this. Is look at the first half, and Utah is laying 6 in the first half. So I was kind of thinking about maybe doing it that way. But Coach, what do you think of this game?
He already picked.
You did?
He went first. Everybody took Utah but me.
Yeah, sorry. Yep, cool. Okay.
I mean, your factoid about the 6-point halftime spread does not change my opinion on the game at all, if that's what you're asking.
No. I was saying I made a mistake and didn't think you went, but I was like, as far as betting halves instead of betting full games, like when there's a big spread, I think maybe they open up a lead early and then it kind of sort of trickles away. So I'll probably bet Utah -6 in the first half instead of -11 for the whole game. But anyway, last one, 10:00 is Philly going to Sacramento. Now we're going to talk a lot about Sacramento from a team perspective in a few minutes, but Philly is getting 3.5 at Sacramento. Is Embiid playing or not? I
heard he's not playing until like the 25th.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
All
right.
Yep.
Okay. So that would make this line make a little bit more sense. But Brother Ray, Philly getting 3.5 at Sacramento. Over under is 221. If that impacts you at all.
I like Philly tonight. I like Philly getting the points. I'll tell you what, they've been through so much. Never mind the Ben Simmons stuff, but Embiid, on and off the court, getting COVID, rest for his knee. I mean, everybody on the team, I think, has gotten COVID at one point. They've dropped players left and right, and they've been through so much. But they're one game above 500. So, like, they're getting battle tested right now. And my hope is that when Embiid finally gets back, and hopefully we get into a situation where he's on the court more than he's off, and everyone else starts. I mean, because of this, Maxi's becoming an absolute stud right now, and Shake's starting to find his way. Even Korkmaz, I like what he's doing this year. Blassie came out and had a good game last week. He looked really good, had like 3 blocks. So I like where they are right now, and I think they're battle tested. I'll take the point. I will take the points going to Sacramento.
All right, Coach, your thoughts on Philly getting 3.5 at Sacramento?
Yeah, I don't know. Sacramento, new coach, weird situation all around to fire a coach this early in the year. I think that works in Philly's advantage. Maxey and Fox is going to be a hell of a matchup. I mean, don't blink, because those two guys are lightning. So I do like Philly. I'm a little bit hesitant because yeah, like, we have no continuity as an organization right now. It's just total. It's like, who's available today? It's like when you play in a men's league, right? And it's like, all right, well, who's showing up? Is Bob coming? Bob. If Bob's not here, then Ray, you're going to start. I mean, that's what Philly's doing right now. But that said, I don't think that. I think the Kings are all over the place as well. So who knows what the rotation's going to look like for them? I'll take the points.
All right, cool. King, any thoughts on Philly, Sacramento?
Oh, I definitely have thoughts. I actually think that having Ben Simmons is going to work out well for the Sixers. And what I mean by that is, like, it's galvanized the team, the city. They kind of all get it. It's hardened some other players, right? You know, you had to find other stars. I think if Embiid comes back and, like Brother Ray said, can finally start to play healthy for a little bit, and they get someone or something for Simmons, it's going to be a real good team. You know what I mean? Like, so they went from, to me, being, you know, the Sixers to where I think their hard stance on Simmons and the fact that they can use him almost as a scapegoat. I'm just being honest. He's kind of almost like a scapegoat in a weird way for Philly fans to, like, put all the hate of all their failures the last couple of years on. And, you know, now we can all hate one guy together, ship him out, bring somebody else new in. We're all on the same page. Everyone's gotten a little bit better. Our star's back. Here's a new somewhat star. Let's go win some games. I think Philly wins tonight plus the points. And like I'm saying, I think Ben Simmons is doing them a favor in the long run of all this. It's just Embiid that needs to come along.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So we're all looks like we're all on Philly on that one because I put that bet in. King, we're going to talk a little about the Sixers a little bit. I'm glad you brought that up because I'm going to have one counterpoint to some of that. So it looks like we decided almost universal Phoenix. Lay the 5.5. Utah, I did the half. You guys talked about the full game, and then Philly getting the 3.5. So get your bets in. You still have time to play all 3 of those games. All right, now we're going to go to my favorite part of the show. We talk about teams that are kind of rising and falling. And guys, I got to say, every week the spreadsheet gets better. You have no idea what's going on behind the scenes on this thing. There's formulas. There's VLOOKUPs. There's data validation. There's links. Like, I can click on a team name. It takes me right to Basketball Reference. Eventually, I'm going to probably be able to market this thing. But for now, I'm just going to share it.
It's got a 1.21 gigawatts type feel to it. I got to be honest there, geez.
It's amazing. All right. Cool. So you guys should be able to see that. All right. So always start with the East. Now, a couple teams that I wanted to bring up. I don't have a ton of this on the East. We usually talk a lot about these teams, but like I said, things look like they're kind of settling into place. But a couple things I do want to bring up, and we'll do it in kind of order here. Brooklyn, they're 12-5 now. They were 10-4 as of last week, so they had a good week. They were 2-1, but that one loss it hurts them because I don't think they can beat great teams. We saw what Golden State did to them. You play them against bad teams, they usually handle it. 12-5 is a great record. I bet them over for the season. You guys can see that they're starting to kind of trend up. But I guess you guys think Brooklyn can be a legit contender in their current incarnation? And King, let's start with you.
In the current incarnation,
yeah,
yes. Yes, yeah, I think they could. What? Yeah,
So,
I definitely think. Why could they not? Aren't they kind of now?
well, Golden State came in and demolished them. They just destroyed them in the second
Yeah,
half. And
that's
like,
Golden State, though. I think Golden State's just like a fucking wrecking crew. I think Golden State might be this team, that team, when they're clicking, like when they're on, when they have a good game, they're the team that if they, out of all the teams in the NBA, if they all have great games, you won't beat the Warriors. The Warriors at their best, I don't think you can beat them right now in the NBA.
okay. All right, yeah, that's fair. I agree with that. So you think Brooklyn is rising? They'll probably finish in the top, 1 to 4 in the East, probably
Yep.
top 2.
Yep.
All right, cool. Do you, brother, you agree with that? You think Brooklyn's legit? Think they can actually make it out of the East?
They're down 9 to Cleveland tonight. Again, you can just rack that up to be in the NBA. I think if you look at what they have, yes, I think they have to be a contenders in the East. Even though they're down 9 tonight to Cleveland, I still can't explain that. I think Brooklyn has to be there at the end. If they're not, coach needs to get fired.
All right, fair. And TJ, anything you want to add on the Nets?
Right. The interesting thing to me about the Nets, because they're just going to win on talent, right? So they usually, in every game that they play, the two best players are on their team, right? Almost when Durant and Harden are out there at the same time, that's usually two of the best players on the floor. The question is, are they going to become in sync and start to look like a basketball team, and then Kyrie's going to find his way back?
That's
like that. Then you got to restart all the shit all over again because Kyrie's ball dominant also. So I feel like they might be able to put this together and even be the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. And then Kyrie comes back in the middle of January, and it's like, hey, now we're going to figure out what to do with this guy. So
Right.
I think that story is far from being told in Brooklyn.
Can I tell you what I think happens? All right. So we have douche moments in football. There's also douche moments in basketball.
I think they're bigger in basketball.
The best thing Kyrie could do, meaning the most douchiest, douchebaggery, would be to come back and just try to win games. Like, just be completely 100% unselfish, 100%. Just be that guy with the handle, facilitate everybody, win a championship just to prove a point.
Keep his mouth shut. Yeah.
Get up to the thing on the podium and then say everything you want to say all season. Like, plow.
At the end, after they win the championship.
After you win the championship, proving a point that he can win one. That's what I would do if I was Kyrie. But then again, I like guess what goes on inside a cavern. You know what I mean? His mind.
I like that. Next one, just quick, is the Sixers. King, I liked what you brought up there. The only thing that I've been thinking about lately is I agree. I like this. I like the stance the organization is taking with Simmons. With Simmons, I think Morey's doing the right thing. I think, like you said, everyone's rallying around it. But you got to look at it from a different perspective too. They have this asset, right? Who was an All NBA, who multiple All-Star teams. He's a max contract, all that stuff. And they're saying they're willing to wait this thing out for years. Well, if you do that, what happens to Joel Embiid? He's playing in his prime, and is this team good enough to win a championship? Because if the answer is no, not only you're proving a point with Simmons, but Embiid is suffering too because he's without another player that could possibly get him to the championship. Have you guys? And I'll go to Brother Ray and TJ. Have you guys thought about it that way, Brother Ray?
Yeah, and that's primarily why they're willing to wait, and it's all or nothing because Embiid, they do have a short window with Embiid, so they're not going to settle for a bunch of second-round picks for Ben Simmons right now. That's the precise reason why he's standing firm, because he needs the value now, and if he's not going to get it, he's going to wait till he gets it because they can't just afford to let this asset go for a couple of second-round picks. So to me, and he's admitted it, Maury, that's the main reason. There's urgency. They need to build around Embiid right now. So if they're not going to get value, what they think is value, they're not going to make the trade.
Then,
and then
add to that, I feel like they're a finals contender as long as Embiid's healthy and on the floor, right? So when you get into the playoffs, Ben Simmons is a negative in the playoffs. And we've had a big enough sample size to say just not having him, even if you don't replace him with anything, even if you replace him with nothing, just nothing, not having him on the floor in the playoffs is good enough for me. Like, if they're not going to get what they think is value, then no, screw him. Don't placate him at all. You're looking at Maxi Grow. I will say this, what's interesting. If you look at the team they're playing tonight, they have 3 point guards in Sacramento, and I feel like one of those guys can be had. I really do feel like one of those 3. They just drafted one. And I don't know if they believe in Fox. We'll talk about the Kings later, but no, 2 second-round picks and a expiring contract is not the freaking answer for Ben Simmons. It's just not.
Okay, agreed. All right. Yeah, I just wanted to bring up that from the other perspective that you are in Embiid's prime, and like if this goes on for 2 years and they get nothing at the end of that, that's it's 2 more years of his career burned. Let's see. Just looking next, Celtics. The reason why I want to bring them up is they're hot. They are 7-3 in their last 10, 3-1 on the week. The interesting thing is Jaylen Brown has missed 8 games. Celtics are 5-3 in the games that he missed. They blew out the Lakers on Friday. They're going to get him. They're going to get Jaylen Brown back. Now, obviously, getting a great player like that back is a plus. But they're doing really well without him. I don't think he's addition by subtraction. But you guys think the Celtics are going to kind of keep this run up and they've got their stuff straightened out? Because first couple of weeks we were saying they were in big trouble. Coach,
they're 500 team. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. We're going to get hot for a week, and then we're not going to be hot for a week. Tatum is so much better without Brown next to him. Like, Tatum is made to be like the guy who gets a touch every time down. I'm curious to see how they're saying Brown's going to be on a minutes restriction when he comes back. No, they're going to be a 500 team. 43, 44 wins, and this is what you're going to have. They'll get hot for 4 or 5 games, and then they'll go and they'll drop 2 stinkers, and you'll be like, well, that's Boston, and that's kind of what you got with them.
Cool. Brother Ray, what do you think? Agree?
Tell you what, Schroeder's playing some good basketball right now, and he's really leading that team. He's been the difference, I think. I mean, they didn't have Williams at all last week, just Al down low, and they had a pretty good week. I think they're a better team with Schroeder kind of taking command. And let's be honest, coming from the Lakers, he knows how to deal with egos. So he's been through the circus before. So this Tatum Brown stuff, that's nothing compared to what he's been dealing with in LA. So, and he can be crazy himself. I just like the way he's playing, and I hope that they learn something from this and keep him in there.
Cool. All right, King, what are your thoughts on Boston?
I appreciate Brother Ray's optimism, but it's actually more what Coach TJ just said. The Celtics are, like I said last week, Kev, they're going to be somewhere in the middle. Like, it's what, like, the rest of the teams will revolve around. So they're going to be anywhere from, 5 to, 8 or 9. And that's all they're doing. They're just moving up 1 or 2 spots because they'll have a hot little streak, couple games. Then they're going to drop a couple games. It's like, I don't know, it's so predictable. You know what I mean? It's like dating a girl, and she's so damn predictable. You're just like, oh. Like, just the way she chews her food makes you want to just, you know what I mean? Like, smash her face in the mashed potatoes.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah, before we, exactly. The whistle app is ready. We'll do it.
What? What did I say?
Still, that's like a late flag. Cleveland, the only thing I wanted to bring up there is it's starting to come around to Coach's opinion. I think they're gonna fade. I think they'll be one of the teams that fades out. I do hope they cover that over 26.5 because I bet it. But Sexton is out for the year, which doesn't help. Mobley's got another week or so that he's out. So I think Cleveland's going to be in some trouble short term and long term. But if they put up a 35, 38 win season, that would be way over expectation for them.
I'll be shocked if they win 30 games. Shocked.
Coach, I have money on this.
And
little optimism.
If you look at our bracket at the graphic that's on the screen right now, you see Milwaukee's still on the outside looking in, and they're starting to get hot. Does anyone think Milwaukee's going to miss the playoffs? No one thinks that. And I don't think the Knicks are going to miss the playoffs either, right? So you can just see Cleveland starting to matriculate their way down the spreadsheet.
Yeah,
they're going to end up in that 13 line.
I think that too, Coach. That's why I brought it up, because you and I were kind of going head to head on them, and I've been very optimistic. But I think they're going to. I think the 5 teams that don't make it are going to be Detroit, Orlando, Cleveland. I think is going to be on the outside. I think Indiana is probably going to be on the outside also, and that's 4. And I had one more, probably even Toronto. I could see being on the outside. But go ahead, King.
I picked up that kid from Duke, the young-looking face kid, Grayson Allen. He's been scoring like 18 points a night the last couple of nights in place of Middleton.
Yeah.
So, like, for the week, he might get another couple of starts. Hopefully, he stays hot, this kid, because it's fun to watch him shoot. Like he's just like, he's 6. What is he? 6 feet or 6'4"? But he doesn't look that 6 feet. 6'4".
Remember how much everyone hated him at Duke? Like everyone just hates everyone from Duke, but he was especially hateable.
Oh yeah,
he would like trip guys. Like he was dirty when he was young. He really was. But I tell you, he's always been athletic and he's always knew how to play.
Yeah, and he's been hot the last couple of games. It's funny to see.
So the last 2 or 3 we'll do quick. Charlotte, I think, is going to be kind of up and down all year. Like King, like kind of the way you described the Celtics, but a little more exciting. What are they? They're 10-8 now. They were at 8-7 the week before. I think they're always going to be kind of bouncing around there. They'll probably be like 8 seed playing team, something like that. Indiana, I think, is going to fade. But the 2 teams, the last one I wanted to talk about was Milwaukee. Milwaukee's getting healthy. They're getting kind of scary. Giannis looks great. The other guys are coming back. They still don't have DiVincenzo. You think, where do you guys see Milwaukee toward as the season progresses? Obviously, they're not going to stay in 12th. They're going to work their way up. Where do you see their ceiling in the East? Coach, I'll start with you since you mentioned them a second ago.
They dug themselves in a bit of a hole to be the top seed. They're then again, it's only 3-4 games back.
Yeah,
they're gonna be the 2 or the 3 seed is where I have them. I don't think anything has changed. They'll get hot. Don't forget, they played all the way. They won the championship. It takes a little while to get your legs under you, but they're going to go rattle off like 18 out of 20 at some point, and then they're going to jump all these teams. There's a lot of balance in the Eastern Conference. Somebody goes and wins 10 out of 12, they're going to jump up 7 spots, right? So I feel like that's where Milwaukee's headed, probably before New Year's.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Brother Ray, what are your thoughts on the Bucks and their ceiling?
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll be there at the end. You can see it once DiVincenzo gets back. They'll be essentially back to full strength. I mean, they haven't had Middleton for a while now, and they've gotten performances from Grayson Allen. Some other people that have stepped up, and that's what you want. That's what you need at the end of the year, because now he's going to have that experience. So he comes off the bench. He's going to be another piece that they didn't have before. I mean, what's not to like when it comes to Milwaukee? I mean, Giannis is playing out of his mind right now. If they stay healthy, why can't they be there at the end? I see no reason.
Yeah.
And if I can add this, they still do play with – they do have divisions in the NBA, even though we don't pay much attention to them. I mean, they got a heavy, heavy load of Detroit, Indiana, and Cleveland in their division. And that's, you go and play some of the division games in a month when everyone's kind of playing in their region, and you can get a lot of wins in a short amount of time when you got those 3 teams in your subdivision.
Yeah, it's a good point, Coach. Very, very good point. King, any thoughts you want to share on Milwaukee?
Actually, no, not really.
All right, cool.
Kev, that was like when you asked the guy the other night in Paranormal.
Yeah.
Kev asked his 2-minute question, right? And he's
Good question too.
And the guy goes, "Well, I don't know," something like that.
Yeah, he agreed. He's like, "Yeah, yes."
And that's it. Dead silence. Yeah. Would you like to elaborate, sir?
All right, guys. So I was going to switch over to the West. I purposely skipped the teams we always talk about: Miami, Chicago, Washington. We always talk about them. Any final thoughts on the East before we jump over to the West? All right, cool. All right, so West, a couple, a lot of interesting stuff going on there. We're going to save the Kings for last. So, see what I'm doing there, Mike? Still teasing it. We're going to save Sacramento for last. But a couple of things I just want to bring up. Golden State, obviously, we rave about them every week. I heard today that Clay could be back the week of Christmas, so that's coming up fast. And he obviously there's going to be minutes restrictions and all that craziness, but he should be back soon. Wiseman, obviously, on his way back. So rich get richer scenario. The other team I wanted to bring up is the Suns. Suns have been red hot. And TJ, I'm going to go to you on them because before the season started, you said something really, really, I thought prescient about, well, maybe not prescient, but there was a different take on Phoenix, and I really liked it. You said before they had Chris Paul, they were kind of like a mid-league type team. They get Chris Paul, they go all the way to the finals. So their actual resting place is probably somewhere in the middle. And I thought that was great, which is why I bet their win total under 51.5. I thought it was really good line of reasoning. But they are red hot right now. 4-0 last week. They're 13-3 right now. You still agree with that assessment of Phoenix, or do you think they're going to keep it up?
No, I do. But I want to go back to the division thing that we just talked about in the Eastern Conference. Phoenix just got done beating up on the Rockets and the Timberwolves and the Mavericks and the garbage out west. They're going to have to go play the Lakers, Clippers, and Golden State when push comes to shove. So I don't think they're as good as 13-3, just like I don't think they're as good as a finals team. Yeah, of course, they're a playoff team. I mean, under 52, I would still feel good about under 52. I really do.
All right, cool, good, because again, there's money on this stuff. Mm-hmm. King, what do you think about Phoenix and their the hot streak?
They're a really good team, is what I think, and I think it's something that Kev, I see it continuing. Did you have the over or under?
I have under 51.5.
Yeah. I think you'd be. Yeah. It's gonna be close. I think it's gonna be close. How about that?
Much balance. Like Chris Paul is so great. They have so much balance on this team. They got like 6-7 guys getting double figures. They don't suck, but I don't think. I mean, this pace that they're on right now is like a 61 win pace. I don't think that good.
Yeah, that's a good, exactly. But I could see them in the low 50s. But hopefully your initial assessment was right and they settled down a little bit. Brother Ray, your thoughts on Phoenix and how far like are they as good as a 13-3 team?
10 straight. They won 10 straight. That's like very, very hard to do. And they're gelling. They're starting to gel right now. And I mean, you saw last year. I mean, when you lose like that, right, and the way they lost. There's either two ways you can go. You can either go in the crapper, or you can learn and rise up from it and become a better team. And it seems right now that they're becoming a better team and they're learning from that. And what's not to like right now? I mean, they have talent everywhere. Their bench is great. A lot of hard workers, a lot of blue collar guys. I'm a fan.
All right, cool. Plus, it's weird. Like they're a good team to watch. I like the way they play. I like the way they play basketball. I like Ayton. I like Booker. I like Chris Paul. Although, he's probably the one I like the least. But yeah, I still think they're a fun team to watch. Do you want to talk about the Nuggets quickly? The Michael Porter Jr. news. He's got some kind of nerve problem. He could be out for the season. I think it was Big Stu was kind of talking about how did Denver not know about these issues before they gave him that monster contract right before the season started. So I think Denver's going to be in trouble. I bet them to go over their win total. I don't think they're going to be able to do it with the team they currently have. So I think they'll make the playoffs, but I could see them fading a bit. Coach, what are your thoughts on the Nuggets?
Hasn't Porter Jr. been hurt for his entire life? Like, wasn't he hurt in high school?
Right.
And he was hurt in college, and he's been hurt in the pros. I mean, some guys are just made out of glass. That's what it is. You never give money to a guy like that. You want to put him on. You want to sign him for a year. You want to sign him for fine. You don't bank on him, right? I mean, Jokic can only take you so far. I don't feel like that over is within reason. I really don't right now. I think that bet is sunk. But
that kid's on the ticker when he's healthy, Kev.
What?
That kid is on the ticker when he's healthy.
Yeah.
And then the other thing,
that's when they let you know he's healthy. He's playing. You're like, oh my God, he's playing. He's on the ticker when he's healthy.
Aaron Gordon was on his way to superstardom in Orlando. What the hell happened to him? Like he's like just NBA guy. That's what he is. I thought he was on his way to being a star.
Orlando ruins people.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna probably end up talking about Denver less and less. Although they do have that Clippers game coming up. So maybe that'll at least ignite them from a talking point of view. The only other teams I wanted to hit here, before we go to the Kings, is really the Lakers. I have to say, like, I am really looking forward to an NBA without LeBron James. Like, what I actually want to ask you guys, like, I see him. I watch him play. I don't like the way he plays. I don't like the way he acts. I don't like the way he talks. I don't like anything about the guy. And therefore, I don't think anyone else Could. But I want to know, do any of you guys know someone that loves LeBron James? Like, I wasn't a Bulls fan, but I could appreciate Michael Jordan. Not a Sixers fan. I can appreciate Dr. J. Not a Lakers fan. Love Magic Johnson. LeBron, I just want to see disappear. So do any of you guys know someone that really loves LeBron and loves his game? Like, he's painful to watch now. Especially now, he's painful to watch. Go ahead, King.
I know, first off, I know multiple dads that are like slightly younger than me that are actual LeBron fans and not actual like just sporting team fans. They're just LeBron fans, period. Oh, God, plain and simple. But, Kev, while we're on the subject of LeBron James, can I just like stretch my wings for a second here? Here's some of my favorite moments of LeBron James. I was thinking to myself this, right? And actually, here's some of my favorite moments. So, did you know that LeBron James had footage confiscated of Jordan Crawford dunking on him in this like kind of like a league, like a warm-up type thing, like an exhibition type thing?
Drew League?
Yep, that happened. Did you know that in 2007, LeBron was spotted at the Cleveland, at the time, Indians home playoff game wearing a Yankees hat?
No.
He's from Cleveland. Okay. How about Deontay? Was it Deontay West, right? He fooled around with LeBron's mom, right? Isn't that what happened? Isn't that what really happened, if we're being honest? All right, so listen. So wait, there's more then. Here's things that he said, Kev, that I was reading today, and I'm like, this is like as dumb as it gets. So, all right. This was after he lost the NBA Finals. This probably sums him up the best. All the people that were rooting on me to fail, at the end of the day, they have to wake up tomorrow and have the same life that they had before they woke up today. They have the same personal problems they had today. I'm going to continue to live the way I want to live and continue to do the things that I want to do with me and my family and be happy with that. They can get a few days or a few months or whatever the case may be. I'm being happy about not only myself, but the Miami Heat not accomplishing their goal. But they have to get back to the real world at some point. Kev, that's just a taste, right? That's a taste of his stupidity, right? He goes, wait. Here's one of my favorite ones. My favorite ones. To all the positions, I just bring the determination to win. Me being an unselfish player. I think if that can carry on to my teammates. When you have one of the best players on the court being unselfish, I think that transfers to the other players. Kev, he's so hateable that it's ridiculous. And they've tried to push this guy on us as a good guy. And like he tried to come in right after Jordan. Like, just kid, get in there, you know what I mean? And just be the next like marketable guy and just shut up. He's done some stupid stuff. And then the last thing, the recent fight with that guy we were talking about is slamming about China. LeBron needs to just shut up. This guy's got actual information. LeBron just, you know what? It's not just dribble. It should be just shut up. He needs to just shut up. I don't want to hear from him anymore about anything. Like, I just wish he would just play the game. Actually, you know what? I want him to quit. Oh, that.
Well,
I want him to quit.
I'm gonna go through one or two other quotes from him. And then I want to talk about his actual play, because his play is terrible this year. But I want to say one other thing too. When I go to a movie, and I don't know if it was Dune or the one I saw before that, when they're going through the production companies that were involved, when I see Braun, I physically want to throw up in my popcorn bucket. I'm like, it gets me so angry. Like his production company is involved with a movie that I'm going to see. They should put that like as a disclaimer somewhere, and because I won't go because I can't stand it. There's that, and then the Enes Kanter thing, I love, and he actually said today, or on Friday, when they were playing, that he's not going to give his energy to any of the anything that Enes Kanter has to say, which basically means he has no idea what's really going on, and he's got to be a douche about it and say he's not going to give them give him his energy, which I thought was an idiotic thing to say. So there's that. Now, so he has a fight. He gets ejected. The other, whatever. That was great. We'll talk about that in a second. But a couple of things on his game. So he's taking half as many free throws as he did a year ago. So he's going to the basket even less. He's taking half of his shots are now 3-pointers. So it's actually over 50% of his shots are 3-pointers. His average shot distance, which used to be between 11 and 12 feet, jumped to 13.9 in 2021, and it's now 15 feet for this year. So everything we thought we were seeing is really like coming to a head this season. He's shooting his worst percentage at the rim. So he's got a lot of stuff going wrong with his game. But I don't know if you guys saw the Detroit game where he blew by somebody, went to the basket, instead of dunking it or dropping it in the basket or doing something like that, he tried to do some weird reverse and he beat the guy, and he just like threw the ball off the backboard and stood there pouting. It was so strange. You should watch the clip. Like, it's like even LeBron 2 years ago would have dunked that. But anyway, so I just wanted to kind of bring that up and say it might be our time that we're really going to be able to watch him fall off. And I can't remember a pro athlete that so many people are going to be so happy to see fall off.
Yeah, so. I'm sure that he's not injured, because if I'm pretty sure, I'll say 90% sure that he got hit with a wooden mallet in his last movie. It was big. I mean, it was like yay big of a wooden mallet. So he's got to be hurt, I would think.
Were the birds circling around his head?
Yes, immediately. Like, saw it.
All right, Brother Ray. So King did his LeBron rant. I did my LeBron rant, tried to bring it to his game. You have anything you want to add?
Guys, we almost got our wish last night, because if Isaiah Stewart got his hands on LeBron last night, that would have been it. There would have been no more LeBron James. And we have to talk about this fight. Yeah. LeBron was frustrated, and basically, because Stewart was all over him, trying to box him out, had him boxed out, and LeBron sucker punched him right in the face, and drew more blood than I've seen in the last 3 MMA fights that I fought. Now, of course, LeBron retreated, and then Westbrook tried to put up his hands like he knew how to fight. He doesn't know how to fight. And Stewart basically trashed the whole coaching staff in like 6 plays to get after the guy, okay? And the best thing is Stewart finally is escorted, back to the locker room, but they're worried because he's done this before. He likes to run around the bottom of the stadium, go to the other side, and come up the other team's tunnel. So they're warning the Lakers, and they're warning LeBron, like, he's going around, he's coming, and LeBron's like, oh, my God, oh, my God, oh, my God. And the way he ran away from Beef Stew was absolutely embarrassing, okay? Absolutely embarrassing. And you know what happened today? Beef Stew, the guy who got punched, suspended for 2 games. LeBron James, 1 game.
Yep.
Welcome to the NBA, folks.
Yeah, awful. All right, Coach, your turn. Anything?
Oh, good.
So
that was great. Good luck following that.
Yeah, right. So LeBron would have got the shit beat out of him.
Oh,
do you guys remember when LeBron was in the locker room and he did like some kind of photo op where he was sitting in the chair with the Malcolm X book?
Yeah.
And now the book, anybody who reads books, right, knows when a book has been read or when it hasn't been read, it looks different. I didn't read this book right here. You can tell I didn't read the book. Had I read it, it would look like it was read. And they asked him what he was learning in the book, and he just said the word Negro like 11 times in a row. If LeBron James, this stick is smarter than LeBron James. He cannot debate Enes Kanter about global politics. I'm sorry. Enes Kanter is a well-rounded, worldly man. I don't know. His game sucks. I never thought he was that good, but, the guy knows what he's talking about, and LeBron has no clue. So he's got to step away from that discussion, right? As far as a player, he's old now, guys. He's 36 freaking years old. I always thought that from age 36 to 45, he would go on the block and take turnarounds like Karl Malone. Instead, he's like stepping farther away and just jacking up 30-footers. I think he'd be wise to go find himself mismatches, post up bigger guys, because he's got to play till he breaks Kareem's record. He has to. He's got to do it. But the way for him to do it now is hurting the team, because he's like just out there. It's a sign of weakness when you're just settling for 35-foot jump shots and step backs. It's a sign of weakness to me. He looks awful.
Kev, would he gain fans if he just said, like in response to Kanter, if LeBron just came up to the mic and was just like, honestly, I just wanted to stop screwing around with my Nike money. Honestly, he needs to just shut up because he's hurting my pocket for all the money that I'm getting that comes from China. So, shut up, please. I'm trying to make money. That's
I
what
would
he really
respect
should
him more.
just say.
I
And we
would.
go, oh, he's being honest there for a second. So
Yeah, you're like, look, I tried to write you as a check.
And
That's how I'm trying to handle this whole thing. But
you
at
know
least it would be
what bothers me the
honest.
most? Here's what bothers me the most. I can definitely win an argument and tell you that LeBron James is the best basketball player that has ever walked on the face of the earth. I have so many possible metrics to tell you that he's got to the point where he's so unlikable that I will argue against what I know to be true just because I can't stand the guy. And I'll be like, you know what, LeBron, maybe he's like a borderline like top 8 guy because I just hate him that much that I get to slide all these other bums ahead of him because I hate him so much.
Yeah, it's crazy how that's like that's why I said I want to meet somebody who's a true blue actual LeBron fan right now, and I want to sit down and have a conversation with them because I would think they were joking. I would think they were just trying to gas me up.
but
I don't think there's ever been an athlete that hit the age of 35 where I didn't start liking them more every year.
Yeah.
what's his record in the finals though?
Oh, I don't know.
Because he's been
to a lot of
disappointing.
finals.
He's been disappointing in the
No,
past.
that's you can't use that against him. You really can't.
He's probably like what?
It's better to
4
get
and
there
3.
than not to get there.
Yeah, but he
But-
lost to Dirk.
He's gonna be like 4 and 3 maybe.
He lost when he came back to Cleveland to Golden State. I'm just saying, like
They lost to
Jordan,
San Antonio.
when Jordan
like
went to
3
the
and 3.
finals, Jordan won.
Yeah,
They never
but
reached
although-
Game 7,
like-
and they never
like-
reached Game 7 ever.
But there's like 13 finals that Jordan didn't get to because he got bounced in the first round. You know, that happened too. But the thing about LeBron is he's going to be the only guy that's going on his farewell tour getting booed. Like, guys are 42 years old, Tim Duncan and Dirk, and they stop the game, and people give you rocking chairs, and they give you watches, and LeBron's going to go to every city in the country, and everyone's just going to boo him and call him a racist. It's unbelievable how the guy ruined his legacy. It's unbelievable.
And you know what? Kobe, we all know what Kobe did, and they love Kobe.
Hell yeah.
The Mamba mentality. You know what I'm saying? Like the Mamba mentality, the way he thinks, which is kind of weird.
I
am
don't
a
see
Kobe fan.
Bron as a player anymore. I see him as a social influencer.
There it is. That's what it is. That's
That's-
the problem.
I don't see him as a player anymore. I don't think anyone does.
Yeah, he's somebody that he just happens to play basketball, among the other things that he does. Like I said, like when I see the Braun production company before a movie, like shouldn't you be anyway, whatever.
Yeah, no, we all look, dude. Here's what it comes down to, because it makes me think this all the time. We all go down to the very core of this: is that we all think he should be better than he is. Because we've seen him when he gets good, and it's like watching something that you've never seen before. But it looks like he's pulling back on the reins so much that you get upset with the product he gave you. Do you know what I mean? Like he's still disappointing to me, no matter how great you guys think he is, because he could have been so much better.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. That's exactly it. That's why I don't. That's one of the reasons why I don't like him. But all right, guys, we got to move on from him. Just in the interest of time here. So we go to the Sacramento Kings. So Sacramento fired Luke Walton, I believe, yesterday. And the thing I don't understand, why did you keep Luke Walton going into the season and fire him at the not even the 20-game mark? Number one, that's question number one. And then talk a little. Then I'd like to get into a little bit why'd they fire him? What are reasonable expectations for this team based on the talent that they have? So I guess maybe take it in two parts. So first of all, King, why did they fire Luke Walton yesterday?
Because they wanted to get him home in time for the holidays. He's not a very good coach. Yeah. He's not. I mean, he's just not a very good coach. So why did they do it right now? Because they're the Kings organization. That's like
exactly.
That's like one of those riddles. It just is what it is. Like it shouldn't have been done right now. What's the difference between now and I don't know, after the Christmas break? Also, I mean, end of year break. They're 6-11. Where are they going? Like, what do they think is going to happen?
Or before the season started. I mean, it's not like.
But I mean, at this point, who's going to coach them up to where it's worth cutting them right now?
Yeah,
no one's coaching them up. Gene Hackman's not coming. Gene Hackman's not showing up.
All right,
it makes sense.
All right, Coach. What do you think of the timing?
Well, they started off the year 5-4. So if you're going to keep them to start the year and they get off to a halfway decent start, now let's not kid ourselves. A good season for the Kings is to get in the play-in tournament. Like, that's a good season. It's just to stay out of the lottery is all this guy had to do. They start off 5-4, cool, and then they just start losing every freaking night. And I guess they're like, this isn't the answer. This is going nowhere. But I'm of the opinion that you get your coaching in training camp. Like now, what are we doing now? Now it's going to take 3 weeks to figure out what this guy wants to run for offense. Or you're going to run the same stuff and tinker with the rotations. It doesn't make sense. I think they should have known Walton wasn't the fit. They should have never hired Walton, first of all. But since you did, you started the year with them. You're not doing yourself a favor by firing them now, going with the interim tag. That's all bullcrap. Hate it.
Yeah. Brother Ray, do you want to add with regard to timing?
You know what? When your GMs are Vlade Divac and then Monty McNair, like, that's all I have to say. That's all you have to say. Monty. Hey, guess what, Monty? If his last name, if Luke's last name wasn't Walton, would he be an NBA coach? Would he be an assistant coach? Would he be coaching, a CYO league in North Providence? Probably not, okay? So this is on Monty. This should have been done way before the season.
Speaking of Monty, this is an organization that's taken a point guard in the first round 3 years in a row. And now these are the guys. This is the guy who's going to make the decision on the coach. Like, you got to fire everybody in the front office when you take a point guard 3 years in a row. And then you got Marvin Bagley sitting on the bench making $11 million a year. He's 7 feet tall and he's 23 years old. And you can't use him in that shitty-ass organization?
5 minutes a game he plays.
It's crazy. You can't mismanage something any worse than this.
So now as an organization, right? They got the apparently one of the best arenas in basketball. They're not super cheap with their money. Like, is it just that the owner doesn't get it, and the people he's putting in charge, like below him, it's just like the wrong people, the wrong culture. It's just, as an organization, they're just going to be destined to be a train wreck. Is that just the way it is? I mean, the guy's got money. The guy's got a lot of money.
I'm thinking they're trying to do what the Hawks did last year. The Hawks got lucky last year. They pulled this stuff, and they were able to make it work. But that just because the Hawks did it last year, because they have a lot more talent than Sacramento, doesn't mean it's going to happen in Sacramento.
So that's what I wanted to ask next. What's a reasonable expectation for this team? Like Coach just said, they drafted 3 point guards in a row. They have Bagley. Like, how many pieces do they actually have? Could a great coach do something with this team to get them to 45 wins, or is it just they're going to sit around 30, like 37, 38 is about their ceiling?
Well, they're the shortest team in the NBA, so that has to be addressed, which is reason 11 why you don't go draft a third point guard again. You go get some damn size. I think it all depends on this, right? Is Fox a championship level point guard? If the answer is yes, and you can grab 2 pieces, because Barnes has been terrific this year, and Hield is a great shooter, so you would feel like the backcourt is good enough to get you into the playoffs and really be a good team in the playoffs. But you got to do something size-wise, because they're just too small, and you can't win games like that in the NFL. You just NBA, you just can't.
King, what do you think of their talent?
I've never been a big fan of Sacramento Kings. They're they're like a farm system, man. That's that. Like I said it last year. This is one of those teams that they're just not. They don't go nowhere. They just stay kind of around this area. You know, they get a couple good guys for a while, and they're gone. It's like, I don't know, man. It just seems like some teams they want to make money just like by selling merch. They're happy enough with that.
It's like the Bengals, basically. They just
like
have a team make money.
They're like the Jets. They just bumble some. It makes no sense. We just go along with it.
All right, Coach. So is this why you turned down the offer, Coach? You just don't think they have the height to get it done?
Well, the problem was when I was on the interview, we were going through the backcourt, and I was saying all the options that we had with the rotation of guys. But then when I looked at Vlade and said, the only reason you had this job is because you flopped a lot in the 90s. And I'm like, you are not qualified for this job. And then he fell out of his chair because he was trying to get the whistle blown. Of course he did. And then I'm like, you guys do understand that size matters in the NBA? Can you get a big and put him in the game? And they're like, Rashawn Holmes, kiss my ass. But I don't know what the answer is over there because I want them to be good. I like the Kings. I really, really do. And it bothers me that they're not. And having Walton wasn't the answer. I don't know who the answer is. But you almost have to go D'Antoni with this team. You almost have to go to somebody from his coach's tree. Unless you're going to go find a big one, unless you're going to go find a post player, you got to go find somebody that's going to let him try and score $140. You almost have to.
All right, Jed. So we're going to shut down the conversation on the teams, move over to players, unless anyone has anything to add on any of the other teams in the West. There were a couple that I wanted to hit, but we can do it next week because I don't think their situation is going to change.
What I was going to say about Vlade flopping, it's weird as a Laker fan. I grew up on Kareem, who never committed a foul, would always freak out, to Michael Thompson, Clay's dad, who was soft as like ice cream, and then Vlade, who would flop and do the big wide open mouth. My whole childhood to teenage years, I just thought the centers were supposed to flop and open their mouth and complain every time they got fouled. Like literally, what else did I see? I'm like, why are you not complaining? You're supposed to complain when they blow the whistle. You're the tall guy.
That's awesome. All right, Jed. So we're a little bit behind time from where I want it to be, so we'll probably run a couple of minutes over. But I'm going to talk a little bit of fantasy basketball. Talk about some players here. So. You guys talk a lot about free agents. If I'm in a redraft league, and even a dynasty, we talk about maybe from two different perspectives. You have any buy low candidates or sell high candidates? Like Brother Ray, who do you have your eye on? For potential players to acquire via trade.
Well, I mean, you're obviously going to be looking for players that maybe the team isn't doing well, and there's a lot of unrest and upheaval. Because usually they want to get out or they want to go somewhere else. So maybe someone like a Colin Sexton who's out for the year. Like he's someone like if you're in a true dynasty league, you may want to keep him to see if he develops. You got to look at kind of what you always want to get the best value. So you don't want to overspend, just like you don't want to overspend in the real world. So yeah, it's kind of looking for those players. Like someone like a Ben Simmons, if you could get him cheap, like right now, I'm sure King would trade him for a donut right now if he could, a chocolate glazed donut. If you get someone like that, he lands with a team and he starts putting up his usual numbers. That's a pretty good deal.
So you're looking at distressed assets, like something that's so far down. Yeah. Yes. All right. And then either King, anyone you're looking at acquiring, or anyone you would like to dump besides Ben Simmons.
No, I'm going to tell you. First of all, Andrew Thomas just scored a touchdown pass. The left tackle. A guy that I would recommend to people that I took in this draft late, young kid that just seems like he's getting better is Josh Giddey. If you can finagle Giddey, you could probably trade decently low for him, you know what I mean? But he's 6'8", right? Like right now he's playing Atlanta and he's got 6 rebounds, 11 points, 7 assists, 2 blocks. That's what Josh Giddey does. Like he's in everything, you know what I mean? And he's just getting he's only 19. So like I said, when I told you there was a lot of young guys that even my son convinced me into like coveting, like this is one of those kids that I'm like, I could probably get him late, and I did, but he's freakishly tall for his skill set, and he's got a crazy skill set. So that's a guy that I would go out of my way to get, even though I already have him.
All right, cool. Coach, anyone that you want to mention in terms of a buy low or sell high?
No, I feel like Maxey is still Maxey and Schroeder. We talked about them both as point guards earlier in the night. I mean, those are both guys that you might be on someone's bench that you can grab up real quick and it's nice and easy. So. That and DeMar DeRozan is not sexy. He's wicked boring. There's nothing to like about him, but he's balling out of his mind. Once again, another year where he's going to average, between 23 and 28 points. So there's a guy that people would be inclined to trade you because they don't like him and he's boring.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. That's cool. Yeah. Thanks, guys, for that. I want to kind of try to do that every week. Talk about maybe some guys you're looking at acquiring, like I said, like a buy low or a sell high. Or somebody you want to dump as a sell high. But in terms of free agents, this is probably one of my favorite parts of the show. We'll do it in the same order. Brother Ray, who do you have? Who would you recommend trying to pick up?
I like what I see from Alec Burks with the Knicks right now. They're having a lot of turmoil there. People being benched. He's getting more playing time. He's starting to put up the numbers. He has a well-rounded game. He's comfortable getting his own shot. He's going to give you rebounds. He's going to give you assists. If he gets the minutes, he'll get you 20 points a game. So he's someone and good field goal percentage. So he's someone that you may want to target right now.
Cool. All right, King, name one.
You know what, Kev? The toughest thing that I have had lately is trying to find decent free agents, just based on how many players are in our league.
Yeah.
There's just you get a lot of guys that either do one thing or they do another, and nothing's too sexy. Like nothing jumps out at you. You know what I mean? So, I would say, honestly, I would have no one to consider. I would think about Josh Hart just because I like how he plays, but
yeah. So I think it might be a little picked over right now.
I think it is, yeah.
Coach, anyone that you have an eye on?
No, well, FantasySP.com, their top owner increase in this past week is Patrick Beverly, believe it or not. But I would be looking, where you can take advantage of this King situation right now, see their first couple of games and see if anybody's minutes are going to be changing. Like if a guy's role is going to change, if part of the deal is maybe it's Bagley starts getting more minutes or Fox starts taking more shots, you could probably find some value there because the Kings are going to be undervalued right now. The team's playing terrible. But when in fantasy, I don't care how bad the team is. I care how good your numbers are. So that's the story with that.
Cool. All right, brother. Anyone else you want to mention quickly?
No, I think Hart is a good one. Beverly's a good one. I said it last week. Kevin Love. I mean, while that rookie is still out, Kevin Love's going to get the minutes. He's back. Last 2 games, he's been really good. He's going to fill it up with rebounds and points. Cool.
All right, so I'm gonna throw a couple of names at you guys, just from the sources that I use. What about and I have the numbers on what percentage of leagues they're rostered in Yahoo. So these are players that are this is 49%. Larry Nance Jr. Is he? You think that he's not even available, or he's not worth considering?
He's been getting the minute. He's been getting the minutes, and he's done well. And the last game, he kind of disappointed a little bit, but no, he had 2 games there where he was. He was doing really well. So I think he's someone you definitely look at on a team that is desperate for front court.
He's just not great at anything. Like he doesn't.
Yeah, again, King, it sounds like you're playing one of those strategies where you're I think you guys have 7 categories where you're willing to lose 3 right off the bat and win 4. So sounds like you need guys that are very concentrated.
But fantasy wise, how is he? He's not good for me fantasy wise. He's that kind of player that's good, NBA wise, betting wise. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say about him.
Right. He's a way better NBA player than he is fantasy asset because he does a lot of the stuff. We don't play a lot of minutes all the time anyway, but he does a lot of stuff that helps an NBA team. It makes some plays for you, but it doesn't really show up when you're averaging 5 points a game.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that makes sense. And that's kind of, I guess, the biggest thing I'm gonna have to adjust to with fantasy basketball is the kind of the category stuffers, I guess. And I can't believe it, Brother Ray. You did not mention Red Velvet. Every single week, you've mentioned him. I assume he's still on your list.
Yes, go out and get him. I would think he'd be long gone by now. He's gonna give you 3-pointers. He's gonna give you decent points, decent assists. He's out there, and we said it was either gonna be him and Reddish, or Reddish, but Reddish has been playing well also. That's a talented team.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's apparently only rostered in 30% of Yahoo leagues. But last guy, I just read this guy's name for the first time, and I'm a little bit baffled by it all. So maybe you guys can tell me about this player. Plays for the Clippers, Isaiah Hartenstein. I can't picture what Isaiah Hartenstein looks like. Apparently, he's a power forward center, so I assume he's very tall. But do you guys know anything about this guy? I literally just saw his name, and that's what jumped out at me. Have any of you heard of him at all?
No, I was waiting for you to talk about Al Horford, but this guy Isaiah Hartenstein, when you see his face, it's not going to surprise you that his name is Isaiah Hartenstein.
Kev, I know who he is. He spent 2 years as their accountant. He was really good at numbers. He's 7 feet. They figured, why not? I know this guy. Yeah.
Exactly.
It was great. All right. Slide rule. Yeah.
All right, yeah, I just saw the name, and apparently he had 2 games back-to-back with 11 points and 6 rebounds.
Let's say this though before we move on. Al Horford, I hate him. Always hated him.
Me too.
He gets you double-digit points. He gets you high rebounds. He's 4th in the NBA in block shots. He makes threes, and he makes all his free throws. Like Al Horford, like fly a kite, buddy. But on a fantasy team, he's not going to hurt you anywhere. He really isn't.
I tell you what,
starts on my team.
one of my favorite moments in my whole live sporting events was to tell Al Horford he's old. Because I know he heard me. I was in the front row. I'm like, you're looking old, Al. You're looking old. I kept saying it over and over, and he came past me. And I know he saw me. He gave me a dirty look. But I love it.
All right.
That was 8 years ago. The guy's still playing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that was like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
D'Angelo Russell was with the Lakers.
All right, guys. So that's it. We kind of hit the hit through that Monday night agenda, the teams, the players, who should be looking at fantasy, the bets. Last thing I want to leave you guys with, and it's a question. Have you seen the video of the Sacramento Kings fan sitting courtside who just throws up in the middle of the fourth quarter? He throws up like a bucket. It looks like this. It's on Twitter, and the sad thing is they only call, like the version I saw. He throws up in like the first second, and it looks like a garbage barrel full of brown sludge. And he literally, he's courtside. He just leans down, lets it rip, and then it must take a second for people to realize what happened, because the guys sitting next to him get up and start walking away. The players are laughing. They got a great shot of Luke Walton looking over at the puke like by the scorer's table. It's worth finding on Twitter. It's phenomenal. It sums up the Kings season. It's perfect.
Did you know that the guy was not drunk, nor did he eat anything before the game? That it was purely based on play?
Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Right.
He listened in on one of Walton's timeouts, and he just couldn't keep it down.
Just let it rip.
He's going to sue the team, Kev.
Yeah, and after that's when Vivek said, "You know what? I'm done. That's all. That's it. That's the last straw."
Did anyone ask Monty what he thought about that?
Yeah.
Maybe you could explain that.
Yeah, exactly. All right, gentlemen, we'll leave it at that. Any final thoughts from you, King? Tell me the Giants score since I know you're watching. Then give me your final thoughts.
Your man Ronald Jones just scored a touchdown.
Are you kidding?
Sweep. No, I'm being serious. It's 17-10. They just took the lead again, the Buccaneers.
Ronald Jones hasn't had a
Brady on a tip ball, and then they threw a touchdown to their left tackle, Andrew Thomas.
Ronald Jones had no touches in the last 2 weeks, and he scored a touchdown.
Sweep. Oh, yeah.
All right, Brother Ray, stop that.
And they're all wearing 1 numbers, and I hate it. I keep Garrett Blunt's 7.
I can't stand that.
Who is that?
You should be like a high 30s or low 40s.
You should have a cheesecake, a picture of a cheesecake on his jersey. That should be his number.
All right, Brother Ray, final thoughts on NBA.
You know what? Go Sixers tonight. That's all I have to say. And hope Ben enjoys his recent Call of Duty game that he's going to play tonight.
He must be really psyched because Overwatch 2 is coming out soon. He's going to be able to get paid $20.
He must have issues with his thumbs, carpal tunnel.
Yeah. All right, Coach. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts is my fantasy team in the Legit League put up 185 points this week.
Wow.
185.
And whose draft theory did you go with on that one?
I went with my own. Now in my other league, I went with the Genius Kevs, and that team broke a 15-year league record by scoring 44 points this week.
That's a high, right?
No, that was a low in the history of my league. And when I took your recommendation and drafted this friggin' I did it my way in the Legit League. I'm putting up 100.
You didn't do it right.
I'm put up 200 next week.
You didn't do it right. Although I in the Legit League, I don't know if you guys looked at my team. I might still beat Dave somehow. I didn't have enough running backs, TJ, because I followed that strategy. I had to start a running back I started Eli Mitchell, who didn't even play, and I had no other options. I went through the whole bench. I messed up on the defense, and I didn't even start a defense. It's like things aren't going well at Baker Field up by Columbia.
In the corrupted football league, I'm trying to get out of this league, get my draft picks, get all the guys on IR, And Brother Ray's teams only beat me by like a 6 points or something stupid like that.
4. You should beat me tonight.
I only started 3 receivers.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, gentlemen, I don't know why we're talking about fantasy football. We have a show for football.
My final thought, and I scored 185 points.
That's weird. So you got a league high and a league low in the same week.
Same week.
You gotta must be all over the place.
Flipping back and forth was kind of bizarre. It really was.
Can I just? All right. So can I have my last words of the week? My
last words, is it basketball related?
No, it's really not basketball related.
Nope.
John Rush just got a swinging thing. He's so fast. All right. Well, I just want to say this. All I want to say is this. I just got to say this. Who's the quarterback coach for Tampa Bay? The offensive coordinator. He's played for Jacksonville.
Tom Brady.
No. Yeah, Byron Leftwich.
Leftwich. Yeah.
Seeing Leftwich right now, just talking to Brady, I can't picture Brady paying attention at all. Like, he must just shut him off completely. Like, what's Byron Leftwich got to say to Brady? Like, you know what I mean?
It could only be like your cleats untied or like something like that. Because Brady's probably like, we already talked about this. We already talked about this, Byron. All right, brother, do you have a final basketball thought? Oh, you said go Sixers. And TJ, a final basketball thought?
No.
You guys are wonderful for this show. I was gonna say you guys. I could not ask for better co-hosts.
Isaiah, free beef stew.
Yeah.
Free Isaiah.
For King Michael, Brother Ray, Coach TJ, you were listening to a basketball show, but now it's kind of a football show where it's like what do you call that in a movie? It's like an ensemble. It's an ensemble cast. We talk about what we want to talk about. Anyway,
of sports, Kev.
Hopefully when we come back next Monday, because Thursday is Thanksgiving, we will not be doing a basketball show on Thanksgiving. So we'll be back next Monday. Hopefully it'll give time for Brother Ray to focus up and Coach TJ to get over that shock of not getting the Kings job, since they somehow went with Alvin Gentry over TJ. I'm not sure why they did that. And hopefully the King will be basketball focused next Monday.
Are we still doing the 9 a.m. live reaction to the parade on Thursday?
Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate the viewership. The next show is a legit wide world of fantasy wrestling on Wednesday. We're going to try to fit in a football show and a parade viewing show later this week. Thank you for watching.
I like the floats. I like the balloons. I like that stuff. I watch that stuff.
It won't end. I'm pressing end broadcast. It won't end.